bank.
Okay.
It didn't make the noise. Hi, YouTube.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
We are. Normally it goes bank,
Hi.
and it didn't go bank this time. So I didn't actually notice that it had.
Your bink is broken.
The binker is broken.
Yeah.
We do
It
have the
happens.
machine. We do still have the machine that goes ping. But is anybody going to get that reference? Who knows?
I don't know, idea. I didn't, so.
I really write 238. It's 239. What the fuck's wrong with me?
Well, you were out for a while, so.
God damn it. I mistitled the fucking thing.
Oh,
Edit event. 239. Dipshit.
Oh, I see. I see you're excited for the IC title ladder match. Oh, I got some shit to say about that.
Good. So does Sal.
Oh, good.
Okay. All right. Let's try this again now. Leave this page. Are you friends with Joey Eastman on Facebook?
I don't think so.
Okay, because he just did a face swap with him and his son RoboCop,
Oh.
and it's even worse than my face swap with my son.
Oh, jeez.
Which is saying something. No, it's 239.
Test. Microphone, test, 1, 2, 1, 2. Why does that seem low? Are you hearing me?
I can hear you, but if your record levels are not good, then you should still fix that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, there we go. That looks better now. Okay, good. I'm thinking of just swallowing the mic next time, more than I usually do on the weekends.
Do you usually swallow on the weekends?
Well, got to mix it up.
That's good for you.
Can't do the same thing all the time.
Anthony Green keeps posting stuff about Limitless Wrestling, and I just laugh.
Because Tabo shit is...
Exactly. I did tell him about that, but he ignored me. I'm not sure if he likes me or not. Either way.
He's tough. I've seen him when he's really cool, and I've seen him when he's kind of being... Hopefully he's not watching this.
Please.
If he is, I love you, AG. Nah, he's a good kid in general. Kid works hard. He's got himself.
Absolutely. I remember when he was a referee.
Yeah, no, he used to do VCW refereeing.
That's how long I've been in the business.
I roasted him at one of our events.
Nice.
Yeah, we did like a Christmas thing where it was mostly just me roasting guys. And it was when he first started growing his beard. And he said something, what was it? I said something about, oh, it's good to see Anthony Green here. I like the beard. Trying to butch up a little bit. The only problem is it makes you look like a 12-year-old with a pituitary disorder. Everyone else loved it. I don't know how he took it. But it's a roast. Stop taking it so seriously.
Exactly. Okay. You ready?
I think so.
All right.
Let's find this. All right. Yep.
Make sure I am where I need to be here. I am. So now that we're on Google Voice for the voicemails, I get transcript.
Oh God.
Which is making me want to do the. I don't know if you know who Paul F. Tompkins is.
No.
The comedian. He used to have this podcast called the Pod F Tompcast.
Okay.
And during one of the segments of the show would be just a clip from his variety show.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he did is called Google Voice Theater.
Oh, geez.
Where he would run like scenes from movies. He did the I Have a Dream speech, and he would just play them into his Google Voice.
Oh, nice.
And then they would just read back whatever the transcript was.
Oh, geez.
And so I'm thinking of basically doing that with like the Austin 316 speech maybe some DX promos, something,
Oh,
just
God.
to see what Google Voice comes up with,
Or we could
because it's still not good.
just have Robo Voice read Sal's voicemails in and of itself.
God, that kid is not going down tonight. Wonder if that's going to pick up on the recording.
I can hear it over my headphones, so
Probably.
yes.
All right.
Is he just not going to sleep?
I can't turn the gain. I can't turn the gain down. I can turn the gain up, but I think that's.
Can't do anything about it.
Now it's worse.
Yeah. But I'm so loud.
Yes. I actually just got a half chub when you did that and right into the microphone.
Gross.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Like I could turn the recording volume down, but that will make me sound like garbage. So
Just give him some alcohol. It usually works for me. A little vodka right on the old pacifier. Right down.
okay, it doesn't seem to be picking up on the recording. So okay. Yes, I know NXT is on, but I've got shit to do. By the way, I watched the ENC show right after Raw on Monday, so
Yeah.
I got to see the unedited version before WWE went in and cut a couple things out. So
I didn't watch it until today. I heard they took something about Sandow in the buried section out.
yeah, the part with the weather map, the weather report, which by the way I was enjoying because they were wearing those umbrella hats, and part of the umbrella was the same color as the screen. So yeah, there was a bit about. I don't remember what it was because I, obviously not realizing it was going to be cut. I wasn't paying rapt attention to that segment. But
yeah, I know. It's got to be on YouTube somewhere.
There was a bit about Sandow right after the bit. Sorry, right before the bit about Lana. There was a bit about Sandow.
Well, they had a bit about Sandow on the
yeah, they did the WrestleMania, the
yeah.
Chump Stain Challenge.
Yeah.
That stayed in, I assume. But
how they didn't get the Goldust one is beyond me. Like, the dude's face is fucking gold. You can tell. What is wrong with you people?
Anyway. Okay.
But there was no naked Tommy Dreamer this week, so that was
thank God. Okay. So this is 239 in 3, 2, 1, record. This week's episode of The Rundown is brought to you by the Intercontinental Championship. Because why have a meaningful one-on-one matchup at WrestleMania when you can shove 7 guys into a ladder match for no reason whatsoever? It was announced this week that the WrestleMania kickoff show will air live on the USA Network for the first time ever. The announcement came with a lineup of USA's WrestleMania week events. Nothing really that special. But mentioned the kickoff show starts at 6. If the kickoff show is 2 hours long and Mania starts at 7, does that mean that the first hour of the kickoff show on the network is the kickoff show? Also, I know it's WrestleMania, but why the fuck do you need a 2-hour kickoff show that you're not going to do anything with?
Oh, they're going to have some matches on there. They got like 10 matches already.
The Andre the Giant Battle Royal is not long enough that you need a 2-hour kickoff.
Hey, you get your name carved in the trophy now. This thing just went way up.
I'm not saying it's not prestigious. I mean, look what it did for Antonio Cesaro and the Big Show. But
hey, if they added a title shot caveat to that match, it becomes amazingly interesting right away.
It becomes the Royal Rumble.
Sure. Well, make it have some meaning. Or give them just an Intercontinental title shot. Something.
Yeah, the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal gets added to the Intercontinental title ladder match.
Boom.
Oh, kill yourself.
Problem solved.
Oh, Jesus.
Why don't we actually just put the 10 Diva match into the ladder match? We'll have 18 people. Some Divas will get the shit kicked out of them, and everybody wins.
Somebody posted on 411 today about that Divas schmoz that's happening for no reason whatsoever, and saying, "Oh, maybe Nikki will come back for the Divas." And somebody was like, "She came back from her injury like 6 weeks ago, so she's not going to be there." I'm like, "Hey, let her fight. Maybe she'll get hurt again, and then she can stay off TV for longer."
Wow. She's still on Total Divas. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's because that was 6 months ago.
Well, yeah, but Hey, spoiler alert! She lost the Divas Championship.
Hey, spoiler alert! Theme song. Still not the longest intro segment ever.
Well, I wasn't sure if I should be talking while you were doing that, or if you were just leading up to the theme song.
Safer for the Wyatt family than a raw dark mane. It's episode 239 of The Rundown. My name is Adam. I'm your host. It is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016. Happy Invasion Anniversary Day. Joining me this week, Jason is here.
On my Invasion Anniversary. Let that one rattle around in your head for a few minutes.
No, we're just going to enjoy this silence. There it is. Yeah, 15 years ago today, WWE, WWF at the time, bought WCW.
Yes. And did fucking nothing with it.
Yeah, I posted that. I posted that thing on the Facebook page where, during the press release, they mentioned the new WCW programming coming to the Viacom networks, including matches on TNN. Ugh.
Well, and here's the thing with that is that they could have done so much more with that. That's the thing that really pissed me off from the start. All they really had to do was pay these guys the guaranteed money they had coming from Turner, and you could have gotten the big stars there right off the bat. And can you imagine? 2001, you get Sting in the WWE for a run. What the hell? I mean,
and instead, we get Booker T versus Buff Bagwell, and the fact that Buff Bagwell sucks ruined the entire fucking thing.
We got fucking Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare out of that. Although R.I.P. I think Sean O'Hare's dead.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Jindrak's the one wrestling in Mexico. That was his first part.
Sure.
Yes. I need trivia tonight. See, I would have killed that one. Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare trivia is my fucking forte.
Okay, you hear that, Sal? That's your next assignment.
There you go.
Somehow find 10 questions to ask about Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare. So at Raw on Monday night, after we went off the air, not only did Braun Strowman get attacked by a fan, Braun Snowman, attacked by a fan, Luke Harper might have blown his fucking knee to shreds.
Well, that's really going to kill that push he had going, so that's terrible news. You don't see anybody get hurt, obviously, but to the fan who decided to, look, we make fun of Braun Strowman, but on that entire roster, there are a few fucking dudes I would rather not fight than Braun Strowman. Like, that dude legitimately looks like he would break someone in half.
His fist is like as big as my head.
Like, if you're going to pick a fight with someone, like, smack Stephanie in the face as she walks by or something,
I haven't seen the video because WWE quickly went and took down all the videos on copyright claim off of YouTube and whatnot. But according to the reactions to the videos that I have read, comment sections and whatnot, apparently it looks like the guy was trying to go for like an RKO or a Stone Cold Stunner on Braun Strowman. So, God knows what this guy was thinking. He was probably drunk off his ass, is my guess.
Fucking Sal Strowman!
But Sal Strowman? Is that his brother?
Sal Strowman.
But he was this person was quickly escorted out by security in the roughest manner possible, apparently.
Well, and this motherfucker doesn't even sell for the Dudley Boys. He's going to sell for this asshole in the front row? Come on.
So, yeah. WWE fans, stop fucking doing that.
Yeah, it did tone down for a while. I remember there was a rash of it for a while. It was like happening every week. So,
well, yeah, because they're gonna fucking sue you.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is that
you're gonna get in trouble.
The boys will tell you once you cross that barricade, you're fair game.
Yeah, exactly. Look up the video of Kevin Owens in don't remember what Fed it was, but he basically taunts this guy into getting in the ring.
Mhm.
But that guy's not the guy who gets in the ring. It's his buddy sitting next to him who gets in the ring, and he kicks this guy's face off of his face.
There was one, I want to say it was the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio ladder match where somebody ran in the ring and pushed Eddie off the ladder in the middle of the match. Like Eddie was climbing the ladder, and the guy runs in and pushes him off the ladder. And then I'm pretty sure Eddie just beat the ever-loving piss out of the guy.
As well he should have.
Absolutely. Could have really injured Eddie at that point.
Yes. Do not do that.
Right.
Don't do it in WWE. Don't do it at TNA. Don't do it at an indie show. Don't fucking get in the ring unless you're supposed to.
Yeah, and definitely don't do it in an indie show because there's way fewer cameras there.
Because you will get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. That's the things you shouldn't have to tell people.
I was at one show once at East Boston High, and one of our guys got in the ring and just started ripping the city and the kids at the school to shreds. And they surrounded the ring, and I'm standing in the ring, and I was legitimately nervous for my well-being. I don't know who's got a knife. I don't like
East Boston. Yeah, I would be concerned as well.
All right, stop talking now.
All right. Let's go to the voicemails. We have a new voicemail now. It is no longer 206-202-6478. So erase that number from your phone and replace it. No more angst. We're going angst free. Replace it with 617-863-6967. 617-863-6967. You can remember it because it's 61 rundown 7. Or I'll have to go back in the group chat and see all the ones that Sean found.
I think one was like Man Crush or something.
All right. Okay. So here is actually. Fuck it. We'll just do it this way.
This is our first voicemail for the Beefcase network.
Yes, you can also like Beefcase Productions on Facebook. As we are now. No matter what Andy tells you, we are now officially under the Beefcase umbrella. And
it's mostly Andy's stuff. It's just we're along for the ride on that one.
Gentlemen, I'm going to do something this week I typically don't do, and that is I am going to take the high road in regards to WrestleMania and Monday Night Raw. I could take the low road. I could sit here and bash everything they've done creatively, but here's what I want to say is they have been longing, for lack of a better term, for the excitement that the Money in the Bank match brought to WrestleMania for the past 2 years now. And I think that they solved the problem last year when they had the Intercontinental title in the 7-person ladder match. If this becomes an annual WrestleMania tradition, I'm not exactly opposed to it. The match last year was exciting. It's a great way to kick off the show. And what you typically have in this match, as you would have in Money in the Bank, is you have a lot of good workers, a lot of great, fan favorites that will all put on a great match. And they'll all do a bunch of high spots. And do I want Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn one-on-one? Of course I do. Did they build it right to do that from the minute Sami re-debuted till now? No. They didn't do anything to build it. And maybe that's a feud that they do use down the road. I mean, hell, you got to sell tickets to Elimination Chamber and Payback, right? And Extreme Rules. But I'm not as opposed to the 7-person ladder match if this does become an annual WrestleMania tradition. Moving on down the card, as far as what they tried to do last night, making Dean Ambrose look even crazier and even more dangerous by beating up Braun Strowman, I don't know if it worked. You really can't compare Braun Strowman to Brock Lesnar. It's like apples and oranges. The only thing that they have in common is that they're both fruit. And with Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, the only thing they have in common is they're big guys. That's it. Their work rate is completely different. Their style is completely different. And I think the Philly crowd could have cared less. I honestly do. I think the Philly crowd could have cared less. The whole Roman is a stalker thing. I mean, you might as well just throw a Jason mask on him. Maybe that actually will get him over. In fact, there's a thought. Roman Reigns with a mask. It could work. As far as Shane and Taker go, with Vince putting Taker's career on the line, I knew that was going to happen. I've been saying that since day one. My idea is that Shane does lose the match, but on the next night on Raw, he initiates a hostile takeover.
Yeah, that's where he gets cut off because that's 3 minutes. So let's talk about part one, and then we'll listen to part two after we're done talking about part one.
Okay.
So you said going into this, you had some thoughts on the ladder match situation. Sal is okay with this being an annual tradition, as it were, of the 7-man schmoz fest ladder match for no reason at WrestleMania. What are your thoughts, Jason?
I'm not opposed to the idea in general. I think, again, you got guys in there that'll put on a hell of a match, like Sal said. There's no questioning that. I do have a problem first and foremost with, I think it should just be the U.S. title. They did it with the Intercontinental title last year. Let's mix it up this year. Let's let Sammy and Owens go one-on-one. But of course, at this point, a good chunk of their audience doesn't know who the fuck Sami Zayn is, because unless you watch NXT, they've really told you nothing about who he is or what history he has with Kevin Owens. He just shows up. No promo to explain it, no video package, because, they don't have access to the NXT fucking footage that they could have put together a nice little package to explain things. But in any event, getting sidetracked there. The match itself, I don't have a problem with the concept. What I have a problem with is what happened on Monday night, because what you did was you had the Kevin Owens, I'm going to set up this triple threat match for the number one contender. Okay, great. Then he turns it into a joke bit. And these are the fucking lame-ass guys who I'm bringing out instead of the guys you thought, the real stars who you thought were coming out. These are the lame-ass guys who I'm not afraid to fight because they all suck. And then, oh, by the way, they're in the match. And that's a selling point now. So these guys who were a fucking joke 30 seconds ago are now a serious, credible threat to your championship. That's not how you book a match. That was my biggest issue with it.
Okay. I can certainly see what you're saying with that. I think the idea of the idea of it was Kevin Owens saying, yes, not afraid of facing any of these guys in a one-on-one match. But now that it is what it is, and it is the 7-man ladder match, and it's now a free-for-all where their big thing in matches like this is, the champion doesn't have to lose the title, where it is first man up the ladder, and it is literally anybody can win. I think it still works. Go ahead.
To me, it's the equivalent. I don't even remember when Shawn Michaels and Triple H brought out they said Bret Hart was going to be in the building after the screw job. And then they brought out the little midget in the Bret Hart gear. Now, the next pay-per-view was not main evented by the Bret Hart in the midget gear. And that's pretty much what they tried to do with this segment. And except then they put the guys in the triple threat in the ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just kind of on different pages here. I had no issue with it. I had no issue with how it played out. I actually enjoyed the fact that the triple threat match that we got was not the triple threat match we were promised, quote unquote. I enjoyed what Kevin Owens did with that.
I have no problem with that. And if that led to the other three coming out and you get a 4 corners match, I have no issue. I just think you told the audience that these guys are a joke, and then you put them in the match, and that didn't make any sense to me. I think you did those guys a disservice in the way you booked that. You made them look bad, and by extension kind of took away from what could have been a really good match.
Agree to disagree. What I am happy about, and I posted I shared a video on our Facebook from WWE, is Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
If you watch the video, and I do recommend that you watch the video, even if you don't like Zack Ryder, if you don't care about Zack Ryder, that's fine. But if you watch the video, his passion for the business and his passion for being in WWE, even though they're hardly using him, and when they do use him, it's just on Raw, it's just to get the shit kicked out of him. his passion for what he does is undeniable. And watching that video and watching him talk about, I was at WrestleMania 10, I was at WrestleMania 12, not 12, but whichever one it was, and then now fighting at WrestleMania 32. How he says he's never heard his theme song at WrestleMania because he's fought at WrestleMania before. He was on that awful Team Johnny versus Team Teddy match, where which he talked about on the Edge and Christian show, where Eve Torres kicked him in the balls.
Which, spoiler alert, is the finish at WrestleMania too.
He is just so excited and so amped up that he is going to get his own entrance at WrestleMania with his own theme song. That even though he has, I'm going to call it a less than 1% chance of winning the match. Just the fact that he is so thrilled to be there just makes me want to root for him so badly.
I agree. I've actually been a fan of Ryder. I never had an issue with him. I think he's a kid who has busted his ass to get himself over despite getting no support from the office. He's one of those guys that said, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna use social media and I'm gonna use that to get a fan base built. And he did that.
Absolutely.
And they put him in a program. They gave him a title, and then they quickly said, okay, well, fuck you, internet. That guy's done. I had heard rumors that they did have some big plans for him post WrestleMania. So maybe the Neville injury just kind of pushed those. I don't think he's going to win the match, but I had heard rumors that he was going to be much more prominent of a character after WrestleMania than he had been for a while.
I had not heard that, but that'd be great. Yeah, he is Neville's replacement in this match. So given how far ahead they book these things, especially for WrestleMania season, I find it's very, very, very unlikely that he will walk out of WrestleMania 32 with the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
Would I be thrilled if he did? Yes.
I'd be happy for him, but I'm still licking my lips for the concept of the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens feud for the title. So
yeah, exactly.
I think one of them walks out.
So am I. So either way, just watch the video. If you haven't seen the video, it's a quick little thing. It's backstage with him, but between him and I've completely forgotten the guy's name.
Rich, is it Rich, right? Rich Brennan?
That's right. It's Rich Brennan. Yeah, I think the guy who used to be on SmackDown before they hired.
Well, they got another guy on NXT now that looks just fucking like him. It's like this Alex dude. They both short black hair and glasses. It's bizarre.
Yeah. So anyway, go and watch that. And that's fantastic. Up next, from Sal's voicemail, getting back to that, Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman. He is saying that they were basically using Strowman as a kind of as a stand-in for Lesnar to show what Ambrose can do against a big, powerful guy. I don't agree with that. I think what this is playing off of this whole thing that we've seen over the past few weeks between the Wyatt family and the Authority. And so this is kind of them kind of trying to feed Ambrose to the wolves before WrestleMania so that he'll get, destroyed leading up to WrestleMania and then get destroyed at WrestleMania, I think is what that was.
It's possible. I mean, I tend to lean more towards Sal's take on this one because historically they've tried to do that. When you've got a guy facing a giant, they try to match him up against another big guy prior to the big pay-per-view event, just to kind of show that, hey, this guy can hang with a guy that size. And it's been fairly customary through their history that that's what they do in these David versus Goliath kind of situations. I agree with them that they're nowhere near actually equitable.
Yeah.
So it probably fell flat, and they really should have had the announcers kind of put that over if that was the intention more.
Yeah, which is also what kind of made me lean in the direction that I was going with that, where it does seem maybe instead of that it was just the Authority telling the Wyatt family to crush this guy. So,
well, they had to have an excuse to get Strowman out there for that audience plant to punch him in the face.
Speaking of Dean Ambrose, Terry Funk. Giving him the chainsaw at the restaurant. So I think next week the Sandman will appear to give him a kendo stick.
Nope.
And then the week after that, Tommy Dreamer will appear to give him a trash can to carry all of his shit.
Nope. I told you that next week it's New Jack to give him a knife. And we're going to complete the Beyond the Mat trilogy with Mick Foley, Terry Funk, and New Jack. We had Jake the Snake to give him something. That's the only one missing.
You don't want anything that Jake the Snake is going to give you.
I gave you a herpes.
You want to play 21?
Oh, he's clean and sober now.
I suppose.
Yeah.
That just means he has leftovers.
Just as a non sequitur, why the fuck did Terry Funk give him a chainsaw?
Because he was Chainsaw Charlie.
Oh, that was Chainsaw Charlie. Terry Funk has a branding fucking iron. He was known for 2 decades for carrying the fucking branding iron. Now, Dean Ambrose isn't going to use a goddamn chainsaw in the match with Brock Lesnar, but if he pulls that goddamn flaming branding iron out at WrestleMania, that place will go absolutely fucking apeshit, especially because it's Texas.
Yeah.
Like, that was, again, horrible. They can't see past, well, he never used that in WWE. He had the chainsaws, and nobody remembers him from other than the WWE. So we get, like, it's just that complete lack of any belief that anybody else watches anything other than their product.
Yeah.
It's irritating.
It could be that, or it could be a branding thing. I mean, like they said on Edge and Christian on the ENC show. Will WWE talk about it? And finally, from that voicemail, Roman the Night Stalker. I thought that segment was ridiculous because it took the reveal of Roman underneath the garage door took far too long.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you see the boots, you're like, oh, it's fucking Roman. But no, we still have to wait for the door to go. Oh, it's legs. Oh, it's legs. Okay. Oh, torso. We have a torso. Like,
yeah. It was
oh my God, it's Roman Reigns. Like, no shit, Sherlock. We've known it's Roman Reigns for the past 2 minutes while we waited for the fucking garage door to roll up.
Monday to me was the best and the worst of Roman Reigns all in one show. I thought his work at the beginning of the show with Stephanie was tremendous. Perhaps some of his best mic work in a long time, where he just kind of stops the slap, and she sold it tremendously. And then he just looks at her and says, now I'm the authority, and like, just brilliant. Great job by him on that. He came across as believable. He came across as a badass. He came across as a guy who's ready to be a top guy. And then that segment afterwards happened. We talked about it on the rundown last week. I had said that I thought Triple H did him a disservice by asking him to come going after him and not selling. And this week he did the exact fucking opposite. He played the chicken shit this week, except in the context of what he did last week, it made Roman look worse. Like, you're either going to be the tough guy heel or you're going to be the chicken shit heel, but pick one and stick with it every week.
Thunk. That's a definitive thunk. So
yes.
We'll move on to the next thing. Voicemail part 2. This is where Sal gets angry because he got cut off by the voicemail.
It should just cut him off.
I was saying, Shane McMahon hostile. Having a hostile takeover of Raw the next night after Mania is better than having the company handed to him. He could bring in Finn Balor and the Bullet Club. He could bring up a bunch of guys. He could make this what the Invasion Eagles should have been. And then you don't have to have Shane have a victory over the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That's my thought process on that. And lastly, I was walking by a cemetery the other day, and I could hear Coco Sean very upset. And apparently, Edge and Christian stole his bit. Apparently, they had a bracket of the worst gimmicks of all time, something that, unbeknownst to me, the Rundown did a few years ago. And you could hear the howls of Coco Sean that he has been hacked by ENC. So, I don't know. ENC. Just a bunch of hacks. All right. Talk to you guys next week.
Okay, so Sal's idea is that Shane McMahon loses at WrestleMania. By the way, the Undertaker's career is not on the line in this match. If if the Undertaker loses, he is barred from competing at WrestleMania. He's not going to get fired or made to retire or never wrestle again. He simply supposedly cannot wrestle at WrestleMania if he loses to Shane McMahon.
Except who the fuck knows? Because every aspect of the storyline from the beginning has been flubbed by somebody.
Yeah.
They kind of screwed it up on the very intro about there was this box with paperwork in it, and they were supposed to mention that, and then they didn't mention that, and then it's Stephanie mentioned Shane, and Shane doesn't mention Stephanie, and this whole thing has been an absolute clusterfuck.
Yes, it has. I did confirm on WWE.com though that the stipulation is Undertaker at Mania.
Okay, but here, let me ask you this, Adam. So, if Shane wins, Vince has told us he's running Raw, which basically means you're running the whole company, right?
Supposedly.
Couldn't Shane just fucking reverse that stipulation after he wins?
Great. Now I need to think up a new question for the end of the show.
It's just that's horrible. The booking of this has been. I mean, I hate to beat the dead horse. I think we've done this enough at this point, but the booking going into this WrestleMania has just been atrocious across the board. I don't know if you catch any of the Taz show. I try to listen, periodically. When I think there's going to be something interesting to talk about. And he actually had Bobby Roode on this week right after he got released. So that's
Bobby Roode.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. But one of the things he talked about the other day was the problem with this WrestleMania in terms of perception is who's got heat going into this WrestleMania? Who's got strong heel heat going into this? Nobody. Realistically. No, Triple H is getting cheered and doing crotch chops. He's over as a face.
Roman Reigns?
No, because Roman Reigns has the ladies. He's got a split crowd, but he doesn't have real heel heat. Lesnar doesn't have heel heat. Ambrose doesn't have heel heat. Shane doesn't have heel heat.
The New Day?
Vince has some heel heat about the match, and he's not even in the fucking match. The New Day is over his faces now. Nobody gives a shit about
not the New Day. Sorry, I meant League of Nations.
Nobody gives a shit about the League of Nations. So there's just... In past WrestleManias, there were heels that you just hated and wanted to see them lose, and you would pay your money to watch them get the shit kicked out of them. And there's none of that this year.
Speaking of the New Day, let's make sure we mention that later once we get done with this. But yeah, I leave you with this thought at the end of the show. Is if Undertaker does lose to Shane at WrestleMania and is therefore banned from competing at all future WrestleManias, can't Shane just overturn that the next night on Raw?
Yeah.
Since he's going to be running the company at that point.
And the fact that they thought nobody would catch on to that just tells you what they think of their audience, I think.
So do you think that your idea is still in play here, that Undertaker, something happens where, at the end of the match, my guess is that it will play out where Vince will appear during the match and at the end will start trying to make demands of the Undertaker through the cage.
Yeah.
Pin him now, pin him. Especially because on Raw this week, Vince said that the Undertaker was his bitch.
Exactly. And I heard that.
And that's not going to end well for Vince and Kennedy McMahon.
No, and I heard that, and that to me was the moment like, oh, wow, that plan I had is coming to fruition.
Exactly.
Like, there it is. That's
exactly. So I do think it's going to go your way more than it's going to go Sal's way. And that's exactly how I picture it, is at the end of the match, Vince comes running out, starts trying to demanding, choke slam him again, tombstone him again. And Undertaker just goes, fuck you, lays down, pulls Shane on top of him.
Or
and then, if we're lucky, beats the shit out of Vince McMahon after the match.
Or the Undertaker's about to win, a hole opens up in the middle of the ring, smoke comes flying out of it, and Pete Gas crawls out.
and it has to be Pete Gas because of all the smoke.
Exactly. And then he comes out and costs the Undertaker the match.
Oh my God. Oh, I would pay for WrestleMania if that happened. Wow. Okay. The other thing that he mentioned was the worst gimmick bracket on the Edge and Christian show. Yes, that is something that we did on this show long ago. I don't know how you were unaware of it, Sal. Haven't you been listening since forever? But way back when, Co-Ghost Sean and I did a worst bracket tournament, a worst gimmick tournament. It was won by Santa Claus. For anyone who remembers, for the 3 people who remember Santa Claus, It was won by Mantar. Mantar was the favorite going into it, but he actually, I think, got eliminated in the second or third round, surprisingly, and we ended up with Santa Claus as the winner. On the ENC show, it ended up being the Boogeyman, which even based on the other characters in the tournament, I disagree with.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy the way that they decided the ones, especially the one where they had them go to the school and talk to the children. I enjoyed that immensely.
I like that. I like them interviewing Cody Rhodes on where, interviewing Stardust on where Cody Rhodes was.
And then Cody appears at the
Are
end
you
of it.
talking about a hand job? Oh shit! It did kind of sound like that. Yeah. No.
Are you guys talking about? Okay, so that is Sal's original voicemail, and he called in again.
Oh boy.
With a question
Sal all the time on this episode.
With a question just for you.
Oh boy.
I just have to get back to it.
Yes, they are real. Really expensive.
I don't know what that means.
Hey guys, this is a quick question for co-host Jason. Jason, for someone who watches TNA and is got a job in the business, I want to know what your opinion is on Matt Hardy and Reba Sky bringing their infant son to the ring, to the locker room, putting him on camera in different segments. It feels to me just awkward. I don't. It's weird. I don't like it. Personally, I don't think you should bring your infant inside the ring. I don't think giant 400-pound Brodus Clay should be holding your infant. I just, it's weird, and it happens a lot at TNA TV taping. So let me know what your opinion is on that. I'll be interested to hear it. Thanks, guys.
Well, I'm not a big fan of it either. I think in a way, they're almost using the kid to try to get some extra heel heat. It's almost like when a couple times I've seen them, when Jeff was about to fight him, he's like, no, hold your nephew. Almost in the way that Savage used to do it with Elizabeth, like put her in front of him. And I personally, as a father, only recently have allowed my son at 6 years old to start going to shows, just because it's just so much. I've been at events and shows where things just go wrong and stuff happens, and I don't want him around that. At least now he's able to move around and, defend himself and know when he needs to get out of the way of stuff and avoid people and things like that. As far as the Brodus Clay, I don't really think that was originally part of the plan. I think Brodus held him for a second, and he just latched onto his tit and started trying to breastfeed, because his are pretty much bigger than Rebby's, which is saying something, because Rebby, never mind. But no, I'm not a fan of it either. I think it's a gross, cheap manipulation, using your infant child, and it's the potential for things to go really bad is just way too high. Honestly, I don't even know from a liability standpoint why TNA would allow it. But TNA has very few stars left at this point, and they lost 2 more this week, so I guess they have to do whatever Matt and Rebby want them to do. I guess I don't know. But to the larger point, I had a huge problem with the fucking fact that they took the title off of him. I was one of those skeptical people when I read that they put the title on Matt Hardy and turned him heel. I actually was kind of enjoying him as a heel and enjoying his title run. And in typical TNA fashion, they can't let anything simmer. They can't let anything build slow. It's like, oh, all right, well, he's had it for an entire set of tapings, so now we got to give it to Drew Galloway. And now Matt's whole turn is kind of pointless. They don't let anybody build anything on that show, and that's part of the reason they have so many problems. But Hulk Hogan's got a bunch of money now, and the first person to congratulate him on that was Dixie Carter on Twitter. I'm not saying she's trolling for investors, but
yeah. So there you go, Sal. There's an answer to your question. Yeah. So Hulk Hogan, since you mentioned him, did win his the lawsuit against Gawker.
Wait,
and
no, I'm sorry. Terry Bollea won the lawsuit.
And then And then posted a picture on Twitter of him leg dropping the Gawker logo. Gawker has already said that they're going to appeal because of certain damning evidence that was not presented and not filed during the case. So they feel they have a case for the appeals court to get that overturned. So God knows what's going to happen there. All I know is I feel so sorry for that jury that had to watch that sex tape.
Well, it could have had to watch the Sunny one, I suppose. I don't know which one's worse, actually.
No, that one was definitely filmed with her knowledge.
The evidence is definitely, I don't know how much of it you followed kind of in depth, but from the very beginning, it was pretty clear that the judge.
I don't want to hear anything about Hulk Hogan sex tape and the words in depth ever, ever. So,
well, Hulk Hogan was in depth. Terry Bollea was not. But the judge really kind of was on Hogan's side from the beginning and kind of sealed evidence that the defense wanted to present, things like text messages between Bubba and Hogan that we've kind of been led to believe may have indicated they were in on this thing together originally. And all that stuff was prevented from being presented to the jury. So Gawker has a legitimate case for wanting to appeal it because it sounds like some of that could be exculpatory.
The big thing that I read was something about in one deposition, Bubba the dipshit saying that Hogan was aware that he was being taped, and then in future depositions, him saying he was unaware that he was being taped.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that was the other thing was Bubba pled the fifth because in that scenario, he's lying in one way or another. He either lied to the federal investigators, which, spoiler alert, is a fucking crime.
Yeah.
Or he's going to lie in front of court, which, spoiler alert, is also a fucking crime. So he pled the fifth to avoid doing either one of those. And once you plead the fifth, legal analyst moment, you're no longer allowed to answer any questions. So he pled the fifth on that question and was no longer allowed to answer anything, whether it was incriminating or not.
I fucking hate that guy so much.
So did Awesome Kong.
I wish she'd killed him. Anyway, so I don't really have a segue to this, but if you purchase tickets to the Madison Square Garden show this weekend, looking for Daniel Bryan Appreciation Night, that's not happening. Neither is Daniel Bryan appearing at WrestleMania Access, and neither is Daniel Bryan appearing on the UK tour, apparently because he asked for time off. But if you do have tickets to the UK tour, there is a chance that you will see the return of Cesaro to in-ring competition. It was announced on their WWE's Norwegian Twitter account this week that Cesaro will be making his in-ring return during the WrestleMania Revenge Tour, announcing Cesaro will be in action at the April 15th live event in Amsterdam at the Ziggo Dome. So unfortunately, he won't be at WrestleMania, or at least he won't be competing at WrestleMania. But on April 15th, he makes his in-ring return during the post-WrestleMania European tour. So that is exciting news, at least to me, because I miss Cesaro.
They want you to believe he won't be at WrestleMania. I'm still holding out hope he's going to be the fifth diva in the 10 diva tag match. He'll be the surprise entrant.
Speaking of the divas, did you see that?
He is a swinger. I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ. Did you see that awful Snickers commercial?
That was, yeah. You mean the one where they blew kayfabe on a WrestleMania match? Yeah.
It started with Alicia Fox and was it Brie Bella? Who the fuck was it?
It was Naomi.
That's right. Alicia Fox and Naomi.
Who are on opposing fucking teams at WrestleMania in 2 weeks. Hanging out in the back.
Alicia Fox and Naomi and Todd Chrisley.
Who?
Exactly. Three things that I absolutely hate. And then
who the fuck is this guy? He's been on the show a few times. Like, I don't know why he's famous. What
the only thing I know about Todd Chrisley is that he's definitely fucking gay and refuses to admit it.
I mean, at least Kim Kardashian showed us something to get famous.
I don't know who he is. I don't know why he's famous, but I know that anytime he appears on Raw or those ads show up on the USA Network, I want to strangle him and his entire fucking annoying, awful family.
Yeah, I agree. We're in full agreement on this one, Adam.
Ugh. Just ugh. Ugh. With a side of ugh. Go away.
Yeah.
You are horrible. You are an awful human being.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, come out of the closet.
I wonder if these things are going to stay on the episodes on the WWE Network when they go up at some point. I don't know if you've caught any of this, but some of the old Raw episodes, I think they made mention of it on the Raw Attitude podcast. You watch the old Raw episodes, and they leave in certain things like old advertisers and commercials, and those in-depth, like the Snickers ones where their people are involved in like a segment. They've left those on there, and some of them are funny to see.
I can't wait till they get back to the Raws that have Keith Stone. That is exactly what that deserved. Thank you. You're still silent. Okay,
I thought that was Rob Van Dam's like his pseudonym that he checked into hotels with.
It might be. Do you have anything else to talk about?
Well, let's see. What do we have? We
have to go back to the New Day. That's what it was.
Okay.
It was announced.
I'm glad I could contribute, Adam.
It was announced today, and you had the best response to this I think anyone could possibly have. But it was announced today that inducting the Fabulous Freebirds into the WWE Hall of Fame would be the New Day. Mm-hmm. And your response was?
It's got to be Triple H ribbing it, because that's the only way three black guys induct Michael Hayes into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Somewhere Mark Henry is smiling. That's all I'm saying. For those of you who don't know why this is funny and don't understand the story, Google Michael Hayes and Mark Henry and enjoy.
Yeah, this has to be some kind of practical joke, because otherwise I see absolutely no reason for this to happen.
Well, they'll play into the correlation of the three-man team and the New Day have defended the title under the Freebird rule, essentially. So there is a loose tie-in they can make. I don't buy any of that shit. I think it's absolutely them ribbing Michael Hayes. Or they're trying to avoid or they're attempting to try to avoid some of the backlash from the African Americans about inducting Michael Hayes by putting him up on stage with the New Day, and that's actually not that unlikely. In the conscious world.
I just want to I'm going to watch the Hall of Fame ceremony anyways, but I want to see Michael Hayes slip and say something awful about the New Day when they come out.
I hope it's not. I hope they do something with the Hall of Fame. I actually look forward to it every year. In the last 2 years when I've watched it on the WWE Network in its entirety, it's been a fucking train wreck.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why you watch, though, admittedly. Because you're like, who's going to give the longest, awkwardest speech tonight?
Who's been the worst, though? That's my question.
Mr. T.
No. Mr. T was great, though. He led himself to so many great punchlines. My only problem with the Mr. T induction was as they pulled him off the stage, they didn't play Brodus Clay's Somebody Call Him a Mama.
My mother, my mother, my mother, mother, my mother, my mother, 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 my mother, my mother, my mother, my mother, my mother, mother, my mother, my mother, mother, my mother, 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 my mother.
Go back and watch the Lita induction.
Oh God, yes, okay, yes. Lita's speech
was just painful because she kept telling these jokes and pausing for laughter that never fucking came because they weren't funny.
Slow and meandering.
Yes.
And then when she gets to the end of it and she has the drink with Rey Mysterio and whoever the other person was, and neither of them were expecting it, and both of them were like, "What the hell? Okay, I guess I'm taking this beer now. Okay, just what the fuck is going on?" Oh yeah, that was painful.
Yeah,
I actually didn't watch last year's. I did not watch last year's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I think I was doing something that night, if it was a show or whatnot. But I didn't watch
entire
it.
Fucking year since, Adam.
You got to watch it live. I'm not going to go back and watch it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, I remember. I don't remember specifics of last year. Honestly, it kind of all ran together for me, but I don't remember anyone. I think Zbyszko went on way too long, as I recall. And I think it was last year the first year of the Warrior Award, so that was kind of good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually get excited for it, and then I'm severely disappointed watching it. This year, I'm not even really that excited for it. I don't really think it's a great crop of guys.
I still don't understand why they're inducting the Godfather and not Charles Wright.
So they can induct Papa Shango down the road.
Because, God damn it, just induct the man.
Here's a question. Why are they inducting Jacqueline before they induct Sable? Jacqueline is by far the better wrestler, but when you think of WWE divas in historical context, I find that Sable was far more impactful and memorable long-term as a personality.
Yeah, but didn't she sue the company at one point?
Yeah, but she's married to Brock. She's hanging around all the time. At this point, I got to think it's water under the bridge.
Didn't she sue the company at one point?
Didn't Sonny?
This is Vince McMahon we're talking about.
Fucking Medusa threw the belt in the trash and got sued for it, I think. So,
yeah, so in 20 years, Sable will get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Hasn't she been gone for 20 years? She looks like it if you've seen her on TV. She gets to rock the Brockcock, though, so.
I don't think we can come back from that. I think we have to end it there. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything else?
A couple things we could throw out there, I suppose.
Go ahead.
For those of you who do watch Lucha Underground, tonight's a big night. Rey Mysterio making his debut on Lucha Underground, so you should check that out.
Sammy Callahan signed with Lucha Underground this week for season 3.
I've never been a big fan of that guy. I'm not gonna lie. He's good in the ring. All right, this is gonna sound silly. This might be a small rant. Let's go off on this. I never take seriously guys that wear those types of ring gear. I don't know why, but I don't remember ever really finding any of them to be entertaining or credible. I think it's because it looks like a baby's onesie, and it just turns me off. I can't explain it, but I can't think of a wrestler who's ever Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay, same deal. I as big a badass as he is, I think he looks corny in that type of gear.
So you're talking about the singlet with no legs.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Trying to think of, Andre, but he's fucking Andre, so he can get away with it. And he only had the one strap. I'm really more talking about the two straps. That really does look like a kid's onesie.
How about Big E when he first came up, and for some reason they decided not to give him legs on his
well, he always had shorts though, didn't he?
Very short legs.
I think he always had legs on it though.
Yeah, when he first came up, for some reason they took his NXT singlet and basically said, okay, this is fine, but we're going to take about 4 inches off the legs, so your cock really stands out.
Oh God. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's one of those stupid little neuroses I have with wrestlers and their appearances. Kind of like when they wear just the trunks with no knee pads. It kind of freaks me out. It's like watching a dude in his underwear, and I don't know. The knee pads make a difference for me visually for some reason. I don't know why. Cody Rhodes used to do that, and I just couldn't deal. I don't know. It's weird. I know this has gone to a weird place, so I should probably stop. But anyway.
Jason does not like, for those of you listening at home, Jason does not like looking at men in their underpants.
That's true. And, well, I wouldn't go that far. But in any event, in other
we've both been in locker rooms. You'll see, you can't avoid it.
Yes. And in other wrestling news, big news out of TNA.
I saw Brutus the Barber Beefcake's penis once. It was very unsettling. Go ahead.
Cut or uncut?
I don't. You act like I'm trying to remember. I don't want to remember.
Think really hard. We need an
answer. I have blocked all but the briefest memory of it from my.
I smell a survey on the Rundown Facebook page coming.
See, the joke answer there is, of course he's cut. He's the barber. But anyways.
Well, that's where I went there. Jeez. So in big TNA news this week, they came to terms on the release of both Bobby Roode and Eric Young. Bobby Roode, phenomenal talent. If the WWE doesn't scoop him up tomorrow, they're making a big mistake. I would scoop him up. I would debut him at NXT TakeOver Dallas. I would get the whole thing going right away. Eric Young, I'm not as big a fan of. I like him. He can work. He's always struck me as somewhat cartoony.
Yeah, he's a solid worker, but he needs a gimmick that's slightly comedic. I
Now
think is the best way to describe it.
they do have history together as Team Canada. Maybe American Alpha wins the NXT Tag Team titles and Team Canada comes out. I don't know. I'm just throwing some shit against the wall. But I would absolutely look and expect to see Bobby Roode in NXT, or he might even get the AJ Hotshot right up to the main roster. That wouldn't shock me either. But he needs to be under the WWE's umbrella somewhere.
Agreed.
That
Definitely.
guy is a phenomenal ring technician.
I wouldn't mind seeing them bring in Eric Young either. He can do good things in NXT with the talent that's down there and the whole developmental deal. So I don't think Eric Young would be a bad signing either.
Yep.
I don't really see him as a huge talent on the main roster. I think he would be more like a Rhino in NXT.
Meanwhile, James Storm goes, "What the fuck?" But in what ended up being
touching on that briefly, I saw the best comment on the 411 website about this, where somebody just posted beer, and someone replied, "There's no money," and someone else replied, "Of course there's no money. It's TNA."
There you go. When you said just touching on this for a second, I thought we were going back to Beefcake's penis. But in what ended up being a completely even and equitable talent exchange, out goes Bobby Roode and Eric Young, and come into TNA Sylvester Lafort and Marcus Louis.
Hooray!
For those of you unfamiliar, they were La Legionnaires in NXT. Failed as a tag team, failed as singles competitors. The one thing I will say for Marcus Louis is he should have been kept because he would have been the perfect gimmick for Son of Kane. If you ever saw him after he shaved his entire head, eyebrows and the whole gimmick,
I'll give you that.
like Kane. That would have been actually a great way to use him, I think. But I thought he was still hiding and stalking Tyler Breeze, but apparently not.
Yeah, we got a whole 1 week of that before they was like, nobody cares. All right. I don't think I have anything else that we need to discuss. So
next week was WrestleMania predictions, right?
Next week is WrestleMania predictions. That is correct.
Hopefully we know about it. We didn't even touch on the 10 Diva situation.
Yeah, because nobody cares.
Well, I will say this. Look, I don't know a flying fuck about this match. What I will say is I am very happy to hear that they're calling Emma back up to the main roster and letting her do her heel gimmick up there.
Hey, maybe she'll steal the show.
Because
hey. All right.
But no, she's.
I'm not apologizing for that joke.
She's done a lot of great work down in NXT, and she's done it.
They stuck her with Dana Brooke, for God's sakes.
They really fucked her on her first run on the main roster, and I'm glad to see she's one of the few people that can go back down to NXT, rebuild their gimmick, and then come back up, similar to Tyson, what Tyson Kidd did.
Her original gimmick was, "I'm a moron who likes bubbles. I'm going to be Santino's girlfriend. Oh shit, Santino has to retire. I'm fucked."
You think Santino hit it?
No. Zack Ryder's hitting it though, so good for him.
Well, there you go. Speaking of which, the one negative piece to the Zack Ryder push and the shot at WrestleMania is we might be seeing the end of the Hype Bros. I think we should have a moment of silence for Mojo Rawley. His probably one and only possible ticket to the main roster could be going away.
Damn.
All right. So here's the thing. I actually don't hate them as a tag team. I think the gimmick of them as a team works.
I just don't like Mojo Rawley.
Have you watched Breaking Ground at all?
Yes, we've talked about that on the show before. Mojo Rawley is very much a John Cena situation. I don't like him on TV, but him as a person, he seems like a very decent human being and a very good man. But on TV, shut the fuck up.
I see guys like that, and I just root for them, even if I don't like their gimmicks. As a father of a small child, seeing somebody who goes out of their way to touch a small Never mind. I caught myself there. Tries to make a difference in the life.
I didn't know. I didn't know Mojo Rawley was Catholic.
Let's not. Someone who goes all the way to try to make a difference in a young person's life. I'm never going to be able to root against that person. You know, I think you'd have to be a real shitbag to do that.
Didn't know Mojo Rawley was Catholic.
What the fuck was that?
That was me laughing at my own joke. Come on.
Like a 13-year-old girl?
All right. That does it for the rundown for this Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016. 262 days since Finn Balor won the NXT Championship. And like we said, 15 years to the day since WWF bought WCW from Time Warner Enterprises, or whatever the fuck they were called. For a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial, go to audibletrial.com/rundown. Help the show out. Send us, give us a little bit of cash. We'd appreciate that. Lucky Pro Wrestling presents Homecoming at the Elks Lodge in Clinton, Massachusetts on Saturday, April 9th. That show is going to feature Stacy the Cat Carter.
Will she be topless?
I hope so. Atlantic Pro Wrestling returns on April 16th at the APW Arena in Newbury, Massachusetts. I will be at that show.
Thank God.
Yeah. I'll be spending the entire show on my phone, though, and not paying attention to anything. And Liberty States returns Saturday, April 23rd to the John McCarthy Elementary School. So that's 3 weekends in a row for me in Peabody, Massachusetts. Anything that you've got coming up?
Just want to say Friday night, June 17th. We're a little bit of ways away, but this is an important one, so we want to give it some pub ahead of time. UFO Wrestling presents the Children's Hospital fundraiser. It's something I get to be a part of every year. As a young man, I had surgery at Children's Hospital, so it's an important show for me every year to help out and help them raise some money. My son is treated at Children's Hospital for something, so you know it's a big important thing.
We have a good friend of the show who works at Children's Hospital. So.
Well, there you go. It is at the Tewksbury Wilmington Elks Lodge, number 2077 South Street, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, Friday, June 17th at 7 p.m. So I want to encourage everybody to get out there, plan it ahead. You got plenty of notice. Get out there and help us raise some money for the kids.
Word. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Podcast. I live tweet Raw and sometimes SmackDown. But not NXT now that we're recording on Wednesdays.
I just realized how bad it is that I'm pumping a kid show after that whole Mojo Rawley joke.
Send us emails to rundownwrestling@gmail.com.
And that I used the phrase pumping a kid show.
Just keep digging that hole. Keep digging that hole. Let me do one last check.
I'm staying out of the kid's hole. Beer.
You're putting beer in the kids' hole?
Why do you always have to take it to a dirty place, Adam?
Yeah, I'm the one who does that. That's all me. Where is this fucking thing? I should have. I'm looking up something that I should have looked up before.
Which, in the context of our recent discussion, is not something you should be doing. If Chris Hansen walks in behind you, I'm fucking hanging up.
There it is. Okay. Leave us a voicemail. Again, no longer at the 206 number. The new number is 617-863-6967. That is 61 rundown 7 or 617-8-men-work. So add that to your phones, update your contact lists. Now, if you're in the New England area, it's not so much of a toll call. Or if you're a normal person and have a cell phone, there's no such thing as long distance anymore. So 617-8-men-work, 61 rundown 7, or 617-863-6967.
And if you have any other creative possible uses for that phone number, please send them to the Facebook page for the rundown.
Like us on Facebook. Tell your parents and your grandparents to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundownwrestling. If you'd like to make a donation of the monetary variety, go to rundown.podomatic, PODOMATIC.com, and click the PayPal donate button on the right-hand side of the page. If you donate at least $50, we will read your name and promote your shit on the show. Watch archived episodes at youtube.com/rundownpodcast and circle me on Google Plus at google.com/+AdamRundown. Host.
Circle that jerk.
I'm glad that joke is back. Feeling constipated? Clear yourself out at tinyurl.com/distant horizons. Chasing distant horizons. It's poetry.
For your asshole.
Check out our sister podcasts on the Beefcase Network. Shadowvane at shadowvane.net. Support them at Patreon, patreon.com/shadowvane. Pen15 Club on Stitcher and iTunes. We are in the process of reworking that. So episode 2 is coming eventually, but it'll probably be episode 1 again, and we'll delete the original episode 1.
That'll be the Porn 15 Club, right?
But we are working on Troy. Troy is working on retooling the Pen15 Club and making it something that we will actually get around to doing on a weekly basis. Tuning Japanese on Facebook and Twitter. They are now on iTunes. Episode 1 has been released, so check them out, please. And of course, the Raw Attitude podcast starring Henry Hugepex, the suplex throwing human duplex, on iTunes and Stitcher. I'm not sure if Tuning Japanese is on Stitcher yet or not.
I believe Distant Horizons is coming to the Beefcase Network too soon.
But that's not a podcast. That's just a book of poetry. That'll
No,
clear
but you can buy it on the Beefcase Network.
that'll clear out your asshole.
Yeah.
Search for us on iTunes under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. If you subscribe, you get the podcast delivered to you absolutely free each and every week for $0.00. If you cannot afford a monetary donation, please go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, as that helps other people find us. If you haven't left a review in a while, please leave another one, because that still counts. If you leave a text review, we will read your name and your review at the end of a future episode. Also available on Stitcher, as I said. What?
Or you can leave a 3-star review and have Adam curse you for years.
Fucking dick. We have 18 reviews, 15 text reviews, 18 reviews. It's 7, or is it 19? It might be 19 now. It's 18 5-star reviews and 1 3-star review. So fuck that guy in his stupid 3-star face.
Oh, by the way, if you plug your own shit in our review, we'll still read it. I'm just saying. Hey, anything to drive the numbers up.
Also available on Stitcher at Stitcher.com or the Stitcher app on your iOS or Android device, also free. Thanks to Tegan Brown for the logo. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to nobody on the side this week. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Adam.
Who is apparently my only friend now and the only one who'll come on this show.
I know. Thank God I showed up. This would be the most boring podcast in history. It'd just be talking to yourself all the time. I had a hard time doing that with the NXT special when you guys were out. When you were out.
Nobody wants that.
No.
That's why I hate doing minisodes if it's just me.
I think the only person that listened to that one I did a solo was myself, and that's only because I needed to masturbate. What's up?
And thanks to I Fight Dragons at ifightdragons.com for the theme song. Next week, as Jason said, we will be doing our WrestleMania predictions. I don't see a contest happening this year. I apologize. Last year's was a lot of work. So,
well, and by we mean me and Adam, because nobody fucking else will show up.
Probably. But in 2 weeks,
call out
the week after WrestleMania, you'll probably get Raccoon Reigns. So
I'll recap. Yeah,
that's his twice annual participation on the show now. Oh, and I will be on a future episode of the Raw Attitude podcast, so be on the lookout for that. As always, Jacob, good night and good luck. 5, Don, go fuck yourself. And tune in next week, since we already used my thought of the week, and I am not good at coming up with things on the fly. Tune in next week for another fun-filled episode.
I feel like I fucked up your ending by spoiling that earlier.
It's all right. It was something that probably needed to be discussed, so it's not a big deal.
Here's a thought.
Okay.
If Zack Ryder loses the ladder match at WrestleMania,
okay, when Zack Ryder loses the ladder match at WrestleMania,
will he be able to find his mojo again?
And will it be in a kid's hole?
Wow, you obsessed, huh? That's getting a little creepy.
Goodbye, everybody.
That went to a bad place. I don't know if it was quite as bad as the Sunny porno episode.
There's just some things I can't let you live down.
I knew it as soon as I said it too. I'm like, fuck. All right. It's funny because it's one of those things. Like I have a lot of friends that do that. They'll be like, they just throw the word "fucking" in, and I do it too sometimes. A lot of the time, I think. But I have to tell them all the time. It's like because they'll use it inappropriately. Be like, "Oh, dude, like when I was fucking a kid and stuff." I'm like, dude, when you were what?
Can you just say funky butt loving?
So hopefully this worked. This is my first episode since my Windows 10 update.
Ooh.
It looks like I have audio levels. But if not, I'm on wired Ethernet. So if you had to pull from the YouTube, you should.
Yeah, there wasn't any dubstep this time, so I think we're okay.
What happened to that kid, Josh? Does he just not do it anymore?
Hang on, let me turn the volume up. I didn't hear what you said. Ask again.
I said, whatever happened to that kid, Josh? Does he just not do it anymore?
He got busy with his kid or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same thing with Troy. Jesus Christ. I got a kid too. So do you. This is an excuse to get away from the kid for an hour or two.
Are you putting them on blast on YouTube before I stop the broadcast?
Just saying. I am not saying that Troy should neglect his child for an hour, but I'm saying fucking Troy should neglect his child for an hour. Fuck.
All right. On that note.
Love you, Troy.
Bye.